It's now time for Punted, a podcast discussing the very latest in all things racing, including tips, giveaways and laughs. Here's your hosts, Scott McKinnon and Nathan Kendrick.
Everybody, to another episode of the Punted podcast, hosted by myself, Nathan Kendrick and Scotty McKinnon.
Yeah, good to be back, Nate.
Good to be back. We've got a special guest joining us today.
Yeah, in-house.
In-house, I know. We had a caller last week, Ben Thompson, and he's got some nice rides again. He rode 4 winners actually.
He rode 7 for the weekend.
Yeah, first 4 winners at Eagle Farm at Eagle Farm on Saturday. So you could be in for a good weekend.
Yeah.
Guys, you've got me overwhelmed. I mean, you brought me in after Group 1 Benny. Comes up with 4 winners in town the next week, and just hopefully we could follow on and just get 1 would be lovely. So hope that's good luck.
Well, we didn't even back any of the ones that he rode on.
We didn't have to bring that up. We didn't back any of the first 4. We backed the one that he tipped us. Though.
Yeah, the one that he tipped us for.
It faded though. Yeah. It didn't do much, but anyway.
Anyway, that's what happens. But a bit of an introduction to you, Dad. Obviously you're my dad, but for people who don't know and for people who are tuning in, Sunshine Coast leading trainer for the last 9 years. Yeah,
it's been 9 years. It's gone pretty quickly. Yes, it does. So yeah, it is. I mean, we moved down from North Queensland. We had a bit of fun up there in Mackay as well. We won some premierships up there. Had a couple of nice horses that ended up in Sydney and Brisbane, so we decided to make the move back down here, and it's been great. So great place to live, the sunny coast. Great place to train horses. Scotty badge for that.
Yeah.
So for people who don't really know, how did you get into? Obviously, a lot of people, a lot of trainers nowadays, it's usually a family sort of driven thing to getting into training racehorses, but for you that wasn't the case.
No, I've loved horses from day one, so we ended up having an old ex-racehorse. So we had show horses early days. We used to break them in and do a lot of work around around Mackay and districts, and had a couple of really knowledgeable Western pleasure mentors, if you like, and they were excellent. Taught us a lot about horses, but not really the racing. My grandfather, he was probably the influence in getting me into racehorses. Like a lot of people, he loved the punt, and I loved horses, so sort of the two ended up together. I ended up at the races fairly regularly, and once I left uni, we came back to Mackay and decided to get an old ex-racehorse. I think he had 3 legs and maybe 2 on some days, but used to ride him around the cane fields up there, and he was my first starter. I think he got beaten about 25 lengths at his first start. The old Stuart up there, as they did in the day, pulled me in and said, "Son, that was lovely. That horse looked beautiful with those big boots you had on him to stop him brushing, and those bad legs. They probably weighed 1 kilo on each leg." And he said, maybe we might take all the boots and everything off him next time and give him half a chance. And that was my first runner, so I learned a fair bit fairly quickly.
Yeah, you're always learning something in this game, I guess, aren't you?
Definitely. But then, it went from there, and ended up, starting off with 4 or 5 horses in Mackay. Moved down to Brisbane, and I was lucky again. I was stabled with an old trainer down there called Jim Mayfield, and he took me under his wing, which was good because I was only 21 at the time, and learned a lot from old Jim. He was the old school trainer, and it was a great experience. And we went back up to Mackay about 10 years later when the kids were little. We thought it was a great spot to bring the kids up. And back then, it was just when the Cutis was just starting to get going. So Mackay went from prize money, where you were running around on a weekend for about $2,500, to all of a sudden all this Cutis money and bonuses. Yeah, wasn't a lot of money back then. Most people did it as a hobby. They'd work during the week and have their horses run on the weekend, and it was a lot of fun. You had your jockeys only really riding 1 day a week up there, and they'd work during the week, come and do the track work and go from there. So it was it really changed once that Cutis came in and the prize money came with it.
Big boost to that racing up there.
Definitely.
And obviously you said you always loved horses. Did you think like a horse trainer was what you wanted to do from day dot?
Look, not really. I always loved horses, but it was like anything. I left school, didn't really know what to do. Went to uni, had a few years of drinking and partying and enjoying myself like most uni students did. Came back, got into a little bit of real estate, business broking, so I did a bit of a mixture of that in with the horses at the same time when I was up in Mackay. But you know, once it's in your blood, as you boys probably realise, it's very difficult to get out. And it's one of those things, and if you love it, you love it, you know. And the ups and downs are huge with this business, but if you do love it, it's nothing like it. And that's probably, once I got a little bit of a taste of it, away I went. And a lot of hard work, a lot of early mornings, a lot of sacrifices. You know, you go from getting home at 3 o'clock in the morning to getting up at 3 o'clock in the morning. So
big difference.
That's the difference when you're a young bloke or a young
ass
girl.
kicked and you just got to roll with the punches. That's what Dad always tells me.
You do
roll with the punches, bro.
You learn to lose.
Yeah,
you learn to lose.
Yeah.
I mean, I hate losing. If anyone sort of knows me around, when I get beaten, I don't like to lose. It takes me probably a good half an hour to get over it, and then move on. But you know, you've got to learn to lose. You know, that's part of the game. You're not going to win all the time, but that's why you enjoy the wins when you get them.
Yeah.
And you're obviously here on the Sunshine Coast now. For people that don't know, as I said, 9 years premiership winning trainer. You've had some good horses over that time too, that especially a lot with, you know, funny and interesting names too that we were mentioning before the show.
Yeah, it's look, you get some great characters that buy horses, and you know, and some owners as well. And we've had some great named horses. I mean, we've got one running around we were just talking about before called Fat Fingers. You know, I've had people come up, who names a horse Fat Fingers? You know, it's a terrible name. And when I tell them the story, it's quite funny. Scotty Russo, he's a great bloke, and when COVID was on, he was a bit like Scotty here. He's all lined up behind his computer. He wanted to buy a superstar over in New Zealand. Anyway, he's there, and I don't know if anyone's ever seen him. He's got hands like bloody, you know, baseball gloves. He's a you know, you wouldn't want one on your chin anyway, that's for sure. But he was sitting behind the computer, and he was lining everything up, and you've got arrows going here, there, and everywhere, and bang! All of a sudden, he hit the button. Boom! Bid came up. He's what's going on? He had no idea what he did. Next minute, sold yours. No one else bid on this horse. So it was.
And what did he pay? About 25.
He paid about 25,000 for it. He said, "Oh my." What do I do? And he rang up Kenny's partner. He said, "Mate, I've ended up with this horse." He said, "Get on in New Zealand, blood stop. Tell him, you know, we can't, you know, it was an accident. It's an accident." And he rang him up, and they said, "Oh, we understand. You know, it's really, it can happen." They said, "You've got two choices." He said, "Oh, great." And he said, "What are they?" He said, "You own it or you own it." So that was it. But he ended up with this horse, and we're at one of the functions there over at Scotty Armstrong's, actually, over at one of his pubs, and he was telling us the story, and there was half a dozen of blokes around, and by the end of the session, he'd given away a share to the blokes in the horse, and he said, "I'm the bunny that bought it, but you guys can start paying for it." So he gave him the share, and look, as it's turned out, I think, you know, look, she's this high. That's why she was next to nothing. That's what Scotty was saying. Yeah, obviously, he sees her behind the gates. There's not much of it. There's nothing of her. She's a pony. But look, it was a real gutsy win the other day, and you know, she's only had 5 starts for 2 wins. And
it was a big win the other night too. Yeah,
so hopefully she can do a few more wins and, you know, have a bit of fun. And talking about funny names, another one probably a lot of people that follow racing know is a horse called Eric the Eel. And he ran 3rd in the AJC Derby for us. He was he was a cheapie. We bought him for about $6,000, and came up with this great idea. We're ready to run this horse and see if we can make some money. He was absolutely terrible. Couldn't get out of his own way. Took him down there. I think he ran about, you know, lucky to break even time. So brought him back. Same thing. I thought, we'll just give him a little bit of time. I said to a few blokes, "Look, here's this horse. I do really like him. He's a good sort. He's going to take time. He can't sprint. You know, he's hopeless." Anyway, so we got a few blokes in him, and I said, "Okay, he's by Olympic Glory." So we came up with this great name, you know, Olympic Glory. Who's the fastest guy around at the moment? Usain Bolt. So his stable name was Bolt. Yeah, so everyone knew him by Bolt. Anyway, came to name him Usain Bolt. No, knocked us back. Couldn't get him. So one of the guys in the horse, Neil Douglas, and he said, "Oh yeah, you know, come up with this brilliant name." He said, "You know, he's an ex-swimming coach, so he's called him Eric the Eel." So I don't know if you guys are probably a bit young, but back in the day, it was he was a fellow that got into the Olympics. We don't probably no one still knows how, but he was the slowest swimmer that you'd ever seen in the Olympics. Anyway, so we've gone from the fastest runner to the slowest swimmer. So we've ended up with Eric the Eel, but he ended up a really good horse and ended up in Hong Kong. He's still running around over there now.
Yeah, raced against Golden 60.
A lot of fun. Yeah.
And another one probably that a lot of people would know too, ran second in the Magic Millions, Full as a Boot.
Yeah, Full as a Boot.
Well.
Yeah, he's another one. Same thing with him. We bought him out of Magic Millions. Got a couple of really good owners in, some really good blokes. We had a lot of fun, but he was named by Alex Penklis. Alex was a few people would know him around from the hotels down at the airport. He's a great bloke and a good supporter of racing. And anyway, came up with this great name. The horses had sort of stockings or socks on him, and so everyone, you say it looked like he had boots on, and his stable name was Boots. And he was out of a mare called Full As, so Alex thought he was very clever, came up with Full as a Boot, and it was a great name. And and his daughter drew out the marble for the Magic Millions, and we were all pumped up there. We thought we were going down with a big shot, and we were about 50 to 1 at the time. By the time she pulled the marble out, we were 150 to 1. Drew the outside gate, and that was Sunlight's Magic Millions actually. And a bit of interference, but he came from last down the outside and massive run and ran second, gave us all a big thrill. But it just adds to the fun of it. I mean, some good names and good.
You've had a lot of luck over the years selling to Hong Kong too, Stuart.
Yeah, we have. It's good and bad.
Yeah, I mean, you lose your star horse.
Yeah, well, we've had probably our one of our best was a horse called Ted, another pretty original name.
Yeah.
But he went over to Hong Kong. We sold him. He won a couple of starts here by 8 and 10 lengths, I think it was, and I was all excited to maybe take him down to the Derby. But we ended up selling him to Hong Kong, and he won the Hong Kong Derby over there, which is worth obviously massive money. Pinghai Star. So he was a bit unlucky not to end up being a real star over, I think, because he won the Derby. It was, anyone gets a chance to watch it.
Yeah,
it flew home from us. It was a freakish win. And he came back, and I think it was first up after the Derby. He ran second behind Beauty Generation, which was one of the all-time greats over there. And probably a little bit unlucky, and he did a suspensory after that. So he's living the life over in New Zealand now, where his owners bred him, and he's been a great old horse. But it's good and bad, Scotty. I mean, you lose your star horse, and everyone wants to try and win that Group 1. We've come close still, with Eric Eel and Charlie River and horses like that, and Full as a Boot and Magic Millions as well. But they end up over there, and it's great for the owners, keeps everyone in the game. Right. And
it's hard to knock back that big money when it's staring you right in the face too, isn't it?
And it just gets bigger and bigger the better the horse goes. So it's a tough call, but it's pays your way basically.
That's right.
And you actually got to go over to Hong Kong after he won the Derby too, didn't you?
Yeah. We Neil Douglas and myself that were in the horse, we went over and. They looked after us great over there. We ended up in the enclosure thinking we wanted to sort of live the dream. But it was good fun. And, Hong Kong's incredible over there, the way they do it and the crowds. And, it's an exciting place to be. So, hopefully we can get back over there again.
Yeah,
for sure.
And you briefly touched on it. You've been close in a couple of Group 1s. Unfortunately, still yet to get there. But we had Ben Thompson on the podcast last week, as we mentioned. He's got another Group 1 ride this week. So,
mate, Group 1 Benny is all everywhere now. He's flying. And look, he's a terrific bloke, as you guys said last week. And if anyone is humble after it, that's Ben. He's back at the sunny coast the next day riding. Actually, he lifted one over the line for us, move it. So
Nathan's best of the day. Get up.
He didn't look like he was going to get there. He just got it on. But back on that point. Yeah. Obviously, as I said, you've been close, but yet to get that Group 1 win. What would probably be for you the ideal Group 1 that you'd want to win?
Oh, look, we probably one of our best horses early days was a little filly called Doubt Filly, not a single Doubt Filly, and she won what's classified as the Jewel now. It was a $250,000 race then still too, and she won that by a big space, and we went down for the Magic Night and ran fourth in that, and we hadn't paid up into the slipper. Obviously we bought this little filly for next to nothing, and we were still based in Mackay at the time actually, so we bought her down. She won that, and we thought, well, we'll go down, we'll roll the dice and have a crack. If she wins the Magic Night, that'll pay our acceptance into the race. But she ran fourth in that, and anyway, she loved the wet. On the way home, I I got a couple of guys in Sydney rang me and said, it's pouring down here, and put that out to all the owners.
Because that's the week before that
the
race.
week before. It was a week before. So anyway, so we put it out to all the owners, and look, she'd already won probably 300,000 in prize money, so she'd done a fairly good job, but it was 150,000 late payment to get into the slipper.
Yeah.
And anyway, one of the guys that was in, he was very keen. He said, "Look, let's just go for it," and convinced everyone we'll have a crack. So here's these bunnies from Mackay, these little outback bloody bunnies from Mackay, going down to Sydney. Ended up on the front page of the Sydney Morning Herald. We ended up publicity everywhere. Here's these guys. We got 100 to 1 shot into the golden slipper, and you've outlaid 150,000. So $150,000 bet to get you a fair way these days. And we outlaid that to get in. And anyway, so it was terrific. All the owners, we all got down there, and we had the week down there. And as I said, it was almost a bit surreal just leading into it. And all I wanted to do was run a good race, so we didn't look like total dills. And look, she did a great job. It was Piero's year. It was a hot slipper, really, really good slipper that year. Damien Oliver rode her, and he rode her in the Magic Night. He said, I don't think you're going to be, I don't think you're going to be totally outclassed in the slipper if you do go. And he stuck with us, which was great. And she ran fourth. So she ran fourth. She picked up 190,000 for running fourth.
For a bet.
Yeah, we partied like we won it. It was terrific. So it was a great night and great week. And but to answer your question, mate, the slipper is probably one of those races. I mean, growing up, the Melbourne Cup, everyone wants to win the Melbourne Cup, and it's become a race that's almost
near impossible
for a lot of us local trainers. Unless you're getting the imports, unless you can afford to be buying those sort of imports or getting those. And I think there's plenty of Queensland trainers that would be competitive if they get the horses, but now to get that sort of horse is really hard. And you've got all the overseas horses coming in. Like, look at the Queen Elizabeth and that this year. I think they said there's a plane load of 20 going to the championships of international horses. So it's getting harder and harder. But I think the slipper is still, a dream for a lot of Aussie trainers, because it's achievable. You do still need good horses, but like you've seen over the years, horses like, I remember when I was in Brizzy, Brucey Brown won it with Callaway Gal. I mean, you can still win those sort of races, and so there's the opportunities for that. But I mean, if you ask me, you can have one. It'd probably be the Melbourne Cup, and then
the Golden Slipper.
And the Golden Slipper, they're probably my two.
And what about in Queensland? Is there one ideally you'd want to win in Queensland?
I want to win the Magic Millions. We've gone close a few times.
Next year will be alright. It's 14.7 million.
That's right. And it's to me now, it's one of those races that's become a real, almost an iconic race of Queensland in the summer. It's the whole week. I mean,
you got the sales and everything.
I mean, what they've done. Jerry Harvey's a master marketer, as we know, and he's turned it into a massive event. And I think that's probably the race for me that I'd, even though it's not a Group 1, it's a race I'd love to win. As I said, we've run second, and we had to run into a champ with Sunlight that year. But I think that's probably a race I'd like to win. Obviously, races like the Stradbroke are time-honoured races in Queensland, which would be terrific as well. But I love the 2-year-old racing, and Magic Millions would be a great one.
And on that note, is there any 2-year-olds that you sort of got coming through now, or even yearlings that you've bought over the last sort of 3 months that you're excited to have in the stable? Yeah, well, we've sort of dug in pretty deep this year, and I'm really trying to sort of, as I said, you've got to increase your quality all the time at the moment. I mean, we've got the likes of Waller with Satellite Stables, Annabelle Neesham, Chris Lees, all of those guys. Tony Gollan, O'Day Hoisted, they've really spent up at the sales over the last few years. So you can just go there on a Sunday and run into $500,000 yearlings, that you've got to try and beat, so you've got to increase. But look, we've bought some really nice horses this year. We've actually, even this week, we bought a full sister to Jonker, we bought a full sister to Pippi, who's a Written Tycoon, multiple Group 1 winner. Bought a lovely Stencil colt in Sydney as well. I like the Russian Revolutions. We've got a nice filly that we bought as well. So we've bought some nice horses coming through, and hopefully, they can do the job for us. So, and we've got some nice 2-year-olds. Obviously, Magic Millions has gone this year, so you're sort of looking for those horses as more your later 2-year-old, 3-year-olds. Got a nice horse called Lamiro. He's an Lonro colt. He
he ran fourth at his only start down there at the Gold Coast in the debut. But he's sorry, I shouldn't say the debut. We were going towards the debut, but we went into the lead up to the Magic Millions to try and sneak in, try and win that race. But he's a lovely horse, half to F Troop.
Yeah.
He's coming back for the carnival. So we've got some really nice ones coming through now. So hopefully, out of those, we've got some great owners putting some money into the stable, and we're trying to just really boost that quality. So we're still going to be competitive against those those bigger stables.
Yeah, 100%. And obviously, this is a bit of a punting show too.
Sure.
And we'd like to know any good punting stories or bad punting stories that.
Yeah, give us a bad one.
A bad one, yeah, to make us feel better about
a bad one. That's called every Saturday afternoon,
That's
boys, isn't it?
Well, that's us every Saturday afternoon.
I mean, I've had probably my punting story is a good and bad one rolled into one, I can say. So anyway, going back probably 3 or 4 years now, I love doing the multis, love doing the all ups, and sort of discovered this, like the Pixies and the Yankees, where you can roll everything in. So anyway, cut a long story short, I think I rolled 5 in together, and it was some ridiculous odds, as you know, if you put them all. And it was over the carnival time in Melbourne. Anyway, bang, got the first one up. And I thought, oh, geez, that's good, because you get something back, because it's all you get the win, and then you get the doubles and everything else. So anyway, next one, bang, got the next one. I thought, oh, gee, going pretty good here. This is all right. Anyway, got the third one, bang. I was absolutely flying. I thought, oh, geez, this is all right. I think it was a $20 parlay sort of bet. I thought, I'm not going to actually add it up. Bang, got the next one, got 4. I'm thinking, gee, this is crazy. This is incredible. We're flying. I had to get one more to get the whole 5. Anyway, without bragging, that turned into a $70,000 collect off the 4.
Shit.
The last one was a 10-to-1 shot. And if the last one had a 1, it would have turned that $20 parlay into $700. So
what actually is it? What was the bet you were doing?
So it basically, you just put it on. I think I picked the 5 horses, and it's like 15 combinations. So you put your $20 in, and it's 15, so it cost me $300 to put the bet on, and it rolls into each other. So you get the double, you get the win, you get the treble, and it just keeps. Yeah. So the last one was a 10-to-1 shot, and if it had a 1, it was down the straight at Flemington. Joe Pride's horse. No idea if I'll think of it as the show goes on.
Terra Vista.
Terra Vista. So Terra Vista, and anyway, he darted through, and I thought, we're just about home here, and some bloody thing of Chris Wallace and won. And anyway, if that had a 1, it would have times that win by another 10, which would have been.
Jeez.
Yeah, it would have been.
Off $20.
Well, 20 times your 15, so it's a $300 bet. Yeah, so I would have been sitting there, still at the beach at Hawaii. Would have owned half.
Not worrying about getting.
So a good story. We still had a great day on the fun. I mean, you don't get those days too often, but anyway, it would have been amazing if they'd had got the money.
Yeah, definitely. What about any bad stories on the punt?
Oh, look, there's,
you really remember?
Probably not. I mean, look, I enjoy a punt, but I probably never punt big enough that it's going to worry me if I lose. And I think that's been the story. I know, as I said, my grandfather, he was a, he loved his sport, he loved his punting, loved his beer, but Nan was always very the sober judge of the lot. And she said to me when I first started having a punt with Pop, she said, Arnie, you ever bet what you can afford to lose? And it's a simple thing. And I say that to you kids, and I said, if it's going to worry you by the time you walk out of the track, that's when you don't put it on. So I've never really had any massive big days. Probably when I was at uni and I was delivering pizzas and down to my last $10 and had to go to work and lost that $10. That was a pretty hard walk home, because I didn't even have enough probably for a cab ride. So, but it's I love a punt, I enjoy it, but you've just got to be smart about it. That's all.
That's right.
And you got something you want to say?
No, not much. I reckon we maybe crack on into the weekend. I reckon.
Yeah. Well, good racing again, obviously.
Yeah. We had a good weekend last weekend, Nathan. You tried to tip a multi at Rockhampton as well. Do you want to talk about that? You nearly got it too.
We should get Sully on this podcast.
You nearly got it. You nearly pulled it off.
Yeah, no, we were close, but We head to Rose Hill for this weekend racing. Good racing, obviously, this time of year. And
go to race 4, the Magic
Night.
Night.
Yeah, Magic Night. We were just talking about that before with Doubt Filly, but Steel City's favourite.
Yeah.
Yeah, it would be a tough watch if you owned her last start.
Oh, it's ugly.
Well, to be fair, it's probably been a tough watch if you've owned her every start she's had, because she's been beaten just on the line, but obviously, good horses learning to fly, favourite for the slipper now too. So, not being beaten by, a not good horse either. So,
yeah, you think if she has a bit of even luck, she's got to be hard.
Yeah. The only thing that sort of concerns me or worries me a little bit is that she's gone down to Melbourne. She's got to come back up after the Blue Diamond, but
Kieran Maher and Dave Eustace, they're experts at keeping horses up for long periods.
That's right.
They did it with a away game, and
look how many starts she had before she went for a spell.
They're experts at doing it. So I think if she didn't pull up well, she would.
Yeah, that's right. They don't line up, do they? Them good young horses for them. No. Yeah, I'm probably Steel City. Yeah. I go again, Nath, one more time, Steel City.
Blank to blank.
Blank to blank. Needs to win this to get in, I'm pretty sure.
Yeah. This is the last race, obviously,
it needs
to get in.
I think it's got enough. It's got 475 in the bank, but it's drawn wide. J-Mac.
Yeah.
J-Mac's on.
J-Mac's going to be having a holiday.
Yeah, J-Mac's not going to make the slipper.
Yeah, I know. We posted that on the Instagram page before.
Curtin coming back on the weekend. Geez, that was good to see. Yeah, he's a freak.
Got both the Group 1s.
He's a freak.
He is. I can remember him as a kid. There was Michael Rod and Zach Purden coming through at the same time. Zach was from, he came up from the Rivers, New South Wales, and Michael Rod was with Brian Guy down at the Gold Coast, and they were two guns coming through, and I mean, look what they've both done. They've both ended up superstars, that's for sure.
He let J-Mac know he's back in town, that's for sure.
Yeah, he did.
He said he might be, there's talks of him coming back potentially too. So
he's been there 14 years now. Yeah. Like, how much money
is
I'm
sure
there
he's
to
got,
make?
I'm sure he'd have
before you
enough.
want to move back with your family. He's got a couple of kids, and Pumpers, the father-in-law, I'm sure he'd want to hang out with the granddaughters.
Yeah, 100%. And I reckon we maybe skip race 5.
Yeah, we'll go to race 6.
Zoo Gotcha, $1.65 favourite.
Wins Nathan.
I don't know how it didn't run a place the other day.
Stiff.
0.3 of a length it was beaten.
It wins. Put it in everything. Put it in your multis, Nate. I like
what
it.
Do you reckon?
Yeah, I'm the same. I actually had it in my multi for a place the other day.
Yeah.
And there you go. There's a punning story I'm upset with still. But it's I don't know. I'm the same as you. I thought, well, it was going to win. It was going to run second. It was going to run third for sure, and to miss the place. But yeah, she's a good filly. I mean, those Zoo Stars, they're just flying everywhere.
Yeah.
Waller.
J-Mac's going to do it skinny as well. He's going to have to get down to 54 and a half, so he's pretty keen.
Yeah.
So,
And I think that's pretty much it.
I don't think I need to talk about too much else.
And this next one's a bit of an interesting race, Sky High Stakes. We tipped King Frankel when he won.
We did.
He's back, favourite again, $3.90 favourite.
It's a tricky little race.
Yeah, he opened at $5, so there's been a bit of support for him. But you got, some
William Haggis's horse sprung over.
Yeah.
They Australian bloodstock, when they bring one of these horses over, they know what they're doing.
Yeah, Explosive Jack, multiple Derby winner.
Yeah, you can probably have Explosive Jack, but fair enough.
No, I'm not having it. I'm just saying.
Not having Explosive
Jack? No, I'm going. Yeah, I'm sticking with King Frank.
You going to stick with King?
Yeah. What are you doing?
Nah, I'm jumping ship.
What are you going?
I'm going the European. I think they bring him over and they go bang J-Mac on.
You reckon?
Yeah.
You reckon it's a bit short for it, but?
Look, I'm not too worried. There's been support for it already. I just like that J-Mac's followed it.
Yeah, I guess it's one. Yeah, it's one his last.
J-Mac would have had a heap of offers in the race with a few Wallers and Cummings and all that in the race.
Yeah.
Kind of just follow the main man where he goes.
Yeah.
And the trainer of his quality, like
that's
he
right.
wouldn't
He's
bring
not bringing
over
for no reason.
And they know the horses now what to bring over.
Yeah.
I think they've learned a lot, especially what horses can
handle.
Handle the different conditions, and not easy to do.
No, well, I see they're going to have nearly 34-degree days for a while.
Down Sydney.
Yeah, it's hot down. They're having a heat wave down there, so that could be a bit of a concern.
That might be the only worry for it.
Yeah, that could be a worry for it, but. Other than that, I thought it was a bit of a tricky race though, Nath.
Yeah.
King Frankel, for sure. the form lines.
You know what's interesting? That Benoud of John O'Shea, it's only won one race, but it's always sort of
Around the mark.
around the money, and it's it's won nearly 600 grand from one win. Because it's been always.
He really thought it was a Derby horse, didn't he?
Well,
early days, it was he's always showed plenty.
And it's half to Far now, I'm pretty sure.
Is it?
Yeah.
No, he was unlucky in a couple of runs there last time in, and he's probably a bit of the X factor in it. But I'm a little bit like you, Scotty. He wouldn't be coming over
For
with
no reason.
with his horse. But 34 degrees. Just hope it doesn't.
Yeah, well, that's the thing. Hopefully it's not that hot.
Yeah, you want to be having a look at the
the mounting yard for sure.
Yeah.
And Coolmore Classic. This is the big one.
This is a lottery. This. Try and pick the winner.
Yearning.
Yeah, I don't know. I came up with Espiona, but
Did you?
I didn't even back it last start.
Yeah, you can't have.
But that's what I come up with. Mickey D. My man,
Yeah,
Legardo.
he gets something.
Legardo. I think, I don't know.
I
51.
think Zach Lloyd's on Yearning, 54 kgs. I know Espiona's got 51, but he ran third in the other Group 1. Zach Lloyd on one of Hawks' ones the other week, I think. Too.
Yeah.
He's
he's
going,
in good form.
Yeah,
for a young kid for those those sort of quality trainers to putting on a kid
That's right.
in the races, no claims.
Yeah.
They've got to think that he's he's cool, calm, and collected to be able to handle it. Yeah. So
he's come on leaps and bounds.
Since going down there, he's really gone to a different level.
All them boys,
matured up a lot as well.
Yeah.
He's sort of gone from from a young kid up here, and
it's a big pond down there. You can't really be a little kid down there with them boys, can you?
They grow up quick and toughen up, and he looks to have done that.
Yeah, for sure.
Yeah, he's going great.
So are you going Espiona?
Yeah, I'm Espiona.
What do you reckon?
I've been a massive Espiona fan. Stream Choice, the Stallions flying.
Yeah.
Obviously, I took it down to Melbourne. Gave it a win down there. She's always going to do it, but from a punting point of view, it's a little bit of a tricky one. She's sort of, she's got beaten a few times, and I think a lot of people have dropped off her. But look, I'm a little bit. Once she's had that kill and that little bit of a win, maybe her confidence is up, and obviously back in good form. So. Yeah, I'd probably roll with Espiona.
He's great mind, thinks a lot.
Yeah,
I was just worried.
We'll see after Saturday.
Yeah, Saturday will tell us.
Yeah, that's right.
Watch your earnings replay for anyone that wants to back a 13.
I was just worried about the top weights. Anna Visto's drawn 16. Like, where does she get to in the run with Nash on? He's pretty a positive rider.
Yeah.
Hinged has drawn 12. A couple of horses that are going to go forward. So
from the barrier.
She just sits behind them, and 51 on the back. She won't know what's on her.
Yeah. Well, she's always had, as we said, that wrap on her too. But
yeah. She has been costly though. Yeah, I must say.
100%.
I guess we skip to the big race of the day, Nath, do we?
Yeah.
Let's go to the Newmarket.
Flemington.
Newmarket handicap, the big handicap.
Down the straight.
Yeah. Stu, what do you think?
Mate, look, these are the hardest races to pick the winner of. But look, I don't know. It'd be one of those races that you virtually just got to go for the class.
Yeah.
I think a lot of the time the class gets you a long way. And they seem to win those sort of races. But yeah, I would have liked to have seen a horse, talking about it like O'Day Hoysted's horse jump into this race. I know they've gone back to the Galaxy, but mate, I'm wide there. I reckon you could pick half a dozen.
I think I wish it's been a bit stiff with the weights. Like, it's been lumped with a bit for a horse that
Yeah, he was saying that.
Well,
I think Pete's looked at at its runs last time in, and I heard early he's just saying that he just wants to train it as a sprinter this time. And look, the run the other day.
It had red light
was
all over.
Outstanding. Everyone would have seen it, and but yeah, as you say, it's they haven't missed it either.
No. And like a horse like In Secret, it's won a few too.
I just thought In Secret the other day can do a little bit wrong. It missed the start and then got beaten the other day. Ran third. We're talking, from that Phillies race the other day into a Newmarket.
Newmarket against the.
In saying that, it's win down there in the Coolmore.
That's right. Yeah.
that was probably J-Mac
I was
at his
there.
best.
Yeah, that was.
It was outstanding, and she put him away and won well. But yeah, I don't know. I gave sort of a bit wide on this and probably have throw a couple in
first four or something.
in your first four. But if you get it, you're going to pay well. But I just think that knowing the way Peter Moody's training this horse this time in, the way it ran first up there,
it'll be ready to fire.
Won't be too far off.
Won't be too far off. If I had to have someone sort of twisted my arm, have a last stole, I'd probably go that way.
Nathan, I know what you're about to tip. Are you going to tip it? Are you going to be
I
brave?
was going to tip it in the Lightning, late scratching. Every time, it's just a Flemington straight horse, I think. Every time it shows up. It's had 4 starts on the track for 2 wins and 2 seconds in Group 1 races too. I'm going with it. Rockin' Horse, $31.
There you
go, everyone. Get on that.
You'll be the pin-up boy if you get up at 31.
The value man has spoken.
Muramasa was...
Do we go each way or on the nose?
Each way. Yeah.
I'm going on the nose, but I'm also not a very good punter either.
I'll go on the 3-year-old. I think Benny Thompson, just because I'm a Benny fan as well, but it's a good horse. It's Bonos Noches.
It's a pedo cob.
Yeah, I like it. In secret, it's going to be hard to beat with no weight. Jamie on, definitely. I wish I win. The big boy up the top, Private Eye, he should have nearly won the Everest with even luck.
And I saw Joe Pride during the week said he thinks it can. He said it's going well enough that he thinks
it was impressive when he took him down there when he sort of started that bit of a roll.
Yeah,
He came back in the Everest and then he blew him away. Was the race he won after the Everest when he just picked him up and he was really impressive. So he's obviously
went straight past Marzu in the race.
He did, yeah. And I know there's sort of Marzu's been, another horse that's been thereabouts, but he was sort of just that length or two behind him there last prep, I think. I mean, maybe he's matured up and he's a Maurice. He looked a little bit of a hot horse. I'm not sure whether he was.
Pacifiers and everything on him.
So maybe down the straight if they can keep him, nice and relaxed. But I did hear him talking about him today and saying that he's definitely matured up and physically and mentally. So
he did look to trial good down the straight too.
And they never really miss. They're pretty spot on Snowdens if they think one's good.
Good trainers and they get them on the day, on the day.
And if they've locked in the next 2 Everest years too, a slot in the Everest.
So they would think he's going to improve with time the whole way. So it's a cracking race.
I mean, it's a great race.
That's what these Group 1 races are all about. When you get fields like that rather than just one dominating, it's exciting racing.
And
good to watch, really.
I think we can probably go to some of the runners you have on the weekend. Probably what people want to listen to.
Well, maybe they can put a line through them, or maybe
Nathan tipped about 6 of them last weekend, so we'll get up them again this weekend.
We had a good week last week.
Yeah,
we had a couple of winners on the Friday and one down the coast. The Poly track down at the coast, I mean, it's a bit of a hard watch. Realistically, it's not easy. But if you do get the right horse on there,
that's right. I was saying to Nathan, I tell you, there'd be a lot of people betting in play that are horses that are leading. They'd just
if you can bet in play, that's the way to back on.
If you're leading, pretty much.
Well, we sent a couple of 2-year-olds down there last week that we both had jumped out really well and showed plenty of speed, but they just couldn't muster the speed on that Poly. They ran 2nd and 3rd, but the winner won by half the straight. So it's hard to get a line on them there. And we had that horse, Early Thoughts, and he's a leader. He's tough. And Bailey Wheeler 3 kilos off, and we said to Bailey, go to the front, and they came and attacked him left, right, and centre, but he was just too tough because he was on speed and could keep rolling. So.
He looks like a kid going forward that could have a bright future, doesn't he? Yeah,
he's. I think he's going to go a long way. He's got, he's got a bit of a racing brain there too. He comes out. He's done his form, and he's really strong at the end for a 3 kilo kid. I mean, he's a little bit like Kyle Wilson Taylor. Even going back to the likes of Anthony Allen when he came up from New South Wales, they got a bit of a different system for their apprentices down there compared to us. So he can come up here with 70 wins on the board.
Yeah, that's right.
3 kilos at the provincials against kids that have sort of won 10 out the bush for us, and a lot of them up here, they can go to Rocky and Townsville. Well, they're going to lose all that claim before they come to the sunny coast and Gold Coast. So he's a fair bit.
The claim ain't going to last long, obviously.
No, what did he do? 8 winners last weekend or something. But he's a good young kid,
Yeah,
very
that's
strong,
very
and
good,
I think
yeah.
he ran 3 for us last weekend, so
Yeah.
he's obviously
Doing
on the
a
top
good
of our
job.
chocolate wheel. At the moment.
Yeah.
Flavour of the month. that's for
Flavour of
sure.
the month.
Eagle Farm, race 1, we tipped him, well I didn't tip him, but I gave him a little bit of a push first start, Capital C, the 2-year-old capitalist colt. Yeah,
he's a really nice colt, this bloke. He, if you watch the replay, he sort of just got a little bit lost. Ryan had to check him a couple of times, probably lost 2 or 3 lengths in the run. And then once he balanced up, he ended up on the outside of the track, which was the day you really didn't want to get off that crown. We ended up sort of a little bit wide, but he still worked home. Yeah, he still worked home really well to run 3rd. And look, we worked him on the course proper there at Sunny Coast on Tuesday, and he did everything perfect, and he was really strong right through the line. So I think the 1300 is going to suit. I think we took a couple of kilos off with Angie Jones, who another inform apprentice. Look, it's an even bunch. We've got horse of Gerald Ryan's coming up, which is the favourite. So it's a little bit unknown, and obviously that Sydney form's usually fairly strong. And our 2-year-olds haven't been that strong, probably, except for Skirt the Law and a couple of others. It's been a mixed bunch, But look, I like him. He's well bred. His first up run was good. 1300 should suit. Should get a nice run, and I think if he does, he'll be hitting the line well. So I definitely think he's a great each way chance tomorrow.
Yeah, and he had a little bit of a cult following at one point in his career. Star of Michelin.
Star of Michelin. Look, he's one of my favourite horses in the stable, but he's one of those horses.
He began well, good at the trials.
You love him but hate him at the same time, and I usually hate him as the barriers open and he misses the start by 6 lengths. And look, he's a frustration because we've had him in jump outs at home, and he's jumped, pinged, and actually led them. And as most people that have a punt, and if they've ever backed him, they know he's the quirkiest horse. You can do all the work with him, have everything perfect, and he stands in the gates. And I was talking to his owner earlier today, and I said, a couple of weeks ago when he stood in the gates, I said, look, Chautauqua did it. They did everything they could to try and do it. And she had a bit of a think about it. She came back to me this morning. She said, I was telling some friends about your comparison with Chautauqua. The only difference is he won $8 million. We've won $300,000. There's only $7.7 million difference. So I said, fair point taken. But look, he's got the ability to win this race. There's no doubt about it. He's the work he can do on the track is as good as as stakes horses, but he just does so much wrong. So if you back him, you're taking the punt that he actually jumps. If he jumps and puts himself in a posse, you're going to get a good price and he'll be there somewhere. But as I said, I'd love him to win again. He's one of the favourite horses in the stable, but he's just a frustration, that's for sure.
And race 8 at the Eagle Farm, no jockey wide draw, probably won't be going, but Altar Boy?
No, well, he's likely to go, I just got to talk to the owners, he's likely to go down the Gold Coast on the Poly, small field down there, Cutis, so he's a Cutis horse, so it makes a big difference if you can win those Cutis races. He won a Cutis race first up at the Sunny Coast, so he's likely to go to the coast. The only issue with that track is if you do get behind them and you get that kickback, a lot of them don't like it. He gets across the Poly great up here, but our Poly's a little bit different. It's sort of settled a fair bit more than the Gold Coast.
Yeah, it's had a bit more time, hasn't it?
But he'll probably go down there. It's a small field. It's worth good money.
I was about to say, the money's still the same, isn't it?
And we know he handles the Poly. So if he handles the Gold Coast Poly, he's a great chance down there.
And Sunny Coast on Sunday. You've got probably not as many as we sort of usually do. There's a few in. What do you like on Sunday?
Sunday's a bit of a trick. I had a nice horse there. I think you tipped him at the last one called Ultimate Outcome. He just can't draw a barrier, and we had to scratch him last week. He sprung a shoe the day before and bruised his foot. You wouldn't read about it, but he worked fantastic this morning, and I would have loved to have drawn a gate with him. But look, it's a sort of a pretty tough day. Caribbean King, he's a lovely horse. We gave him a nice little soft trial on Tuesday. He's got plenty of weight. Jake Malloy's going to come and ride him. So
we were running scared. We've already scratched from the race. That's for sure. No thanks.
There's a few chances in that race. It's not an easy race.
It's not an easy race, is it? It's quite a good race to finish the day off.
So we've also got Highland Sun, but he's drawn off the track there, and he'll probably wait till Wednesday. So yeah, Caravan King, he's a lovely horse. He's one of Archer Park's. They've got some boys on fire with their horses.
Haven't they?
The blue and white star, the white with blue stars.
They've got an unreal striker.
Yeah, they're great blokes to train for too. So they deserve everything they get. They support a lot of the Queensland trainers, so they're doing a great job. So I think he's a good chance. We've also got another little filly, and look, she was pulled up really sore in the heels last start and did nothing. But one first up called Queen's Secret. If we get the rain, if it pours rain, she's one that really feels the ground when it's firm.
Well, we had a bet.
Stuart, I'm trying to win a race. Come on.
No,
Why not roses? Go get whiny.
Well, do you know the one thing with Why Not Roses? You know what you're going to get.
Yeah,
She'll jump
right.
on Queen's Secret. She's going to need everything her
She
way.
got rid of the jock yesterday.
Oh, did she?
Yeah, she backed poor old Nathan Thomas on.
Oh, she must be feeling well.
She was. She thought she was going all right too.
Yeah, but if that's a proviso that I think if we get some rain, she'll be a different horse.
It's meant to, Sue.
Yeah,
Next couple of days.
We threw her in as a late nom for that reason. So there and they're we've got a couple of chances on Sunday, and probably our best probably for the weekend down there is Maximum Output at the Goldie. He's a consistent little horse. He just probably just a length or two behind him in town this prep, and he's been running thirds and fourths. Back to the provincials, he's drawn one at the coast, and what we're talking about, if he can jump, lead that race, I don't know if they'll catch him. It's 1200, which is the only query. Yeah, I think he's a real 1100 metre horse, but looking at that track, if you can get across it and you can be a couple in front of him at the furlong, they just won't catch him. Yeah. And he's won here on the poly really well here, so he's probably another good chance. So so we've got a few chances for the weekend.
And probably doesn't even have to be one of ours, but best bet for the weekend.
Jeez, put him on the spot, mate.
Yeah.
Wow.
Maybe
not going to.
I thought he came prepared.
Yeah. Have you?
Yeah.
Have you got one?
I told you before the show. I'm ready to go. I've been waiting for this horse to run for ages. Since its last start.
Well, I haven't, but I haven't got a best bet, but I can make one up if you want me to. But I think you're as good a chance as any if you have something on Maximum Output.
Yeah. I don't know what the noise is. Technical difficulties in the studio. Anyway.
Maximum Output. What's yours?
I've been waiting for this horse to run after its debut at Pakenham.
Yeah.
V8.
Oh yeah, the grunt horse.
It's in the Sires Produce down in Flemington. And
race 4.
We've been trying it. Race 4.
Number 7.
Number 7.
Yeah. They're pretty handy horses, these grunts. I think we've looked at a lot of them at the sales. They've been good types, and I've heard McAvoy's talking about this bloke, and they've got a pretty good rap on him. So it'd be interesting to see how he goes.
Yeah. Well, they elected.
What price is he tomorrow?
380.
Oh, so that's just saying.
Yeah, 380. So they chose to bypass some other good races to sort of target this way. Yeah. So it'll be interesting. I'm keen to see him back. Yeah. Scotty, or are we gonna wait?
Oh look.
Put it on the Instagram.
We'll put it on the Instagram. I haven't quite figured out what I'm making the best. Zoo Gotcha, I think, is my multi-builder. Yeah. I might have a little 2-leg multi, Nate.
With V8?
Well, jeez. I'm brave coming with you. Last time I did that, we skirt the Lord. But anyway. Alright, well, I think that'll do us for the week. It was a good week.
No, thanks for coming on.
No, you're on, guys. No, good luck. You're doing a great job. So
we're having a go.
Yeah. I hope you tip a few winners.
Yeah, we'll try our best.
Us too.